Hale. Scotty.
Here.
Welch.
Here.
And I'm here.
Well, going to you is the update, and that's what Tom is here. So I don't know.
All I have, I don't know anything, the last was a letter I sent to you.
Right.
It's just that, the railroad unsolicited sent an email saying they're interested in selling the land. So, but I think they've got to finish their committee work at that point.
They have to finish what?
The committee work to decide whether or not something the community wants to do.
Tom, do you have?
Yeah, but I put in that letter that there is problems with what you received. I'm not sure they did.
It's been brought to my attention what's going on here. So I want to let you know where I stand on my property down here. Back when the railroad pulled the tracks, I pursued getting the property changed over to my name. I was informed by the railroad that they could not sell the property to me because they had no paperwork to show that they even owned it with an easement. And since then, in 2014, a case just like this went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that it does go to the landowner. So I just want to inform you, as of this week, I will be posting a private property. I will be blocking it off, and nobody will be allowed to cross. It's my property, according to the law, and according to the railroad, what the railroad told me 10 plus years ago. So that's where I stand on it. I don't know who's behind this, or what rights you have, or you think you have, or how you think the taxpayer money should go to buy something that somebody doesn't even own.
Well, that's what the citizens have to decide, the committee has to decide. But last year, the year before, they sold the land to Moody.
Oh, I see that. I see that.
They sold it for cash.
And, well, they sold what was outside of town long before that. And the guy that took care of that, or got all that process, was Al Westfall, which he actually came in and helped me deal with the railroad on this section.
That was a different section, yeah.
Right, that was outside of town, but it's the same
They
railroad.
got title insurance, but 2017 is when they sold it.
Yeah, I see that. Which they told me they couldn't do.
It's up to the council board.
Well, one of the stipulations is that they don't say that they own the land. They can't prove that they own the land.
Right. So how in the hell are you gonna buy it
But
from?
they claim they own it. They claim they can sell it, but they're not vouching that they have anything to sell.
Right. And what makes them think that they own it?
Well, it all depends on when it all depends, to go back on how they acquired it.
Right.
When they acquired it, under what federal act. It's very complicated.
But if they didn't get an easement or a railroad right of way, they should have a deed to it, correct?
Well, it all depends on whether they got it under an act of Congress. There's all kinds of different ways that they acquired railroad tracks. And this goes back to the 1860s. So you can, I mean, people can argue back and forth who owns it. There's been no definitive determination who owns it.
But I think the Supreme Court in 2014 made it pretty definitive.
I don't know if that was the same applicable fact. According to DNS, it wasn't. I don't know. I mean, again, the board has to decide whether they want to pursue this. I'm not doing anything to decide we want to somehow acquire for some reason. But it has to be for a public purpose. So, you gotta make that decision first. There's no reason to spend any more money on it unless you decide you want to pursue it. And then again, it can only be for park purposes. All it can be is park or road. That's for the public purpose, for public use.
And what I've read is that has to be done, like the roadway has to be done within a year's time, once the railroad pulled out.
I'm
state or somebody wanted to do a road, it has to be done within a year's time. You can't wait for 10, 15 years down the road and say, well, you know what?
I've
We've
never
not
seen
done
that. I don't know. I've never seen that. No.
So anyway, that's where I stand on that. And then the other issue, I don't know, I should talk about it now, or
Yeah, you can, that's fine.
I just, I need somebody to come down and look at the driveway at my house. Evidently the tube must be plugged because the water gushes out of it instead of, when it rains, it's pouring out on top of my driveway. There's holes that's been undermined, and now the water's coming out when it rains.
Are you free tomorrow, Tom?
What time?
What time works for you?
It's like 8 o'clock?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
fine.
Anything else, Tom?
No, that's good.
Brooke?
I think I know most everyone here, but for those I don't know, I'm here for two reasons. I'm here for myself, and I am the ambulance coordinator. I help coordinate and run the ambulance here in town. I am a full paid time paramedic here. On top of being paid, I volunteer most of my time here also. I have a few incredibly positive things to say because I think in the world right now, especially in this room, I think a lot of positive needs to happen because I'm hearing and seeing a lot of negative, and I just don't think it's what a small town needs. So I think I need to say some good things because sometimes things go unnoticed for the positive. So this last winter, I've heard a lot of complaints from certain board members themselves or a couple specific about how terrible the roads are. I have to tell you from an ambulance standpoint, my fire chief here, he'll speak from a fire standpoint. From an ambulance standpoint, we operate a big ambulance. I have never, ever struggled this entire winter to maneuver our ambulance in any which direction. In fact, I can only give kudos and compliments to the roads as far as we are concerned as an ambulance service. We have gotten to every call that we needed to get to this year, not just in a timely manner, but smoothly. I have not struggled once to navigate our ambulance in city limits, period. Now, the country is a different breed, it's hard, it's drifty, it's whatever. Within city limits, I heard a complaint that people are upset that, I guess it would be First Avenue, it would be where the road Logan and Teresa live on, is getting plowed first. I'm going to tell you that complaint is completely invalid. What's happening is this road is not being plowed for Teresa Hutton, this road is not being plowed for Logan. This road is being plowed because it is the road that leads to Stone Street. Stone Street houses, in a very short radius, 3 of our town's EMTs. 2 medics and an intermediate. And I'm sorry that we're somewhat of a priority, but in the event that something is happening to somebody in town, we have to get to you. I can't get to you if my road is drifted shut. I just can't. And for us, when I tell you this, I truly mean it with my whole heart. That's all we want to do is to get to you and to help you. That's it. To anyone in town. Without prejudice, without anything, we just want to help everybody. It is, Logan, from us and your road crew, it is so appreciated that we can get here to help. This winter, we were able to save a life in a bad snowstorm because we were able to get out of our driveway. We were able to get to the fire department, and we were able to get to them quickly. In fact, 6 minutes, a 6-minute response time from our bed to the fire station. That's incredible. Without public works, without that being done, it would not have been possible. I would have been stuck in the middle of Stone Street. I'm sorry that some people see it as favoritism. I'm telling you, as a volunteer and as a paid medic, we are truly here to help protect the citizens. Without you, Logan, and your crew, we could not have done that. So for a little bit of positivity, I think you need to see there's a lot of good happening with all the complaining too. As far as our police department is concerned, same thing. We're dealing with a couple families in town right now who we have to have the police department there before we as an ambulance service can proceed. Without the quick, timely response of our police officers getting to those scenes to secure those scenes, us, we were able, you know, even if it's something as simple as, you know, hey, can you go pull the cat out? We were able to do our job with their assistance. And in a town this small, that's huge. So again, kudos to our police department for doing what they do, for assisting us, for being there, and for being top notch. I mean, from our standpoint on an ambulance service, I can tell you, again, Wyatt and your crew, Logan and your crew, I commend you. So from us to you, thank you. From another standpoint, as a personal matter, I've lived in this town my entire life with the exception of about 8 years when I moved to Cordova to start my first family. Even then, my heart's always here, and I think it's clear that Janet is my mom, so even when I left, I never really left. You know, our families are close, we're here all the time. The negativity going on in this town, the blaming, the job chasing, the hurtfulness, the neighbors being mean to neighbors, I've seriously watched genuinely incredibly wonderful people turn into some people that I can't say anything about because I can't say anything nice. This has gone too far. Seeking jobs, pushing people out of positions they've been in for 30 years, doing it openly in public, hosting meetings at the library. I'm all for it, but it's paid tax dollars. So if we're going to complain about that, then we have to dig into a couple things. I know for a fact, because I've heard it myself with my own ears from a few people, that at least one board member is fighting for Logan's job, and they want Logan's job taken away from them. I found out some information, and I think it's important that I tell the board, because I don't think the board is aware, that in all fairness, for Logan to be able to do his job, he has to be notified of a situation, right? So I want to know how and why we needed some work done up at the ball diamond. We needed electricity cut to the ball diamond, okay? And I love the ball diamond, don't get me wrong. But to do this, we called an ex-city employee to go to your ball diamond to cut your electricity. And if I understood this correctly, which I think I did, this ex-employee is currently suing the village. Is currently or recently has sued the village. This ex-employee was called to your ball diamond to cut off your electricity. So we're not even allowing Logan to do his job. In my eyes, he's insured, correct? Is Logan insured through the village? Yes? Okay, so he's insured through the village. So is it fair that we called an ex-city employee, who I also adore, but that's beside the point, to come up and do work at the ball diamond? Is it fair? Who owns the property that the ball diamond sits on?
Village.
The village owns the property? So should a village employee be doing the work, or should it have been hired out to a contracted service approved by the village? Were you aware as board members that this happened?
I was not.
Were you?
Oh.
So you're learning today. Were you aware? Teresa, were you aware?
I'm ready.
I knew the phone call was made.
Okay. Ed, were you aware?
No.
I think we have to take a
So
look.
this person did cut the wires, did cut them?
Did turn off, yes, I don't know how it was done, but yes, the electric was turned off by an ex-employee of the city. Under direction, I do believe, of a board member. Again, whoever handles everything is Baldwin would have to answer that, but I'm fully aware. And I don't think it's right, for several purposes. A, I hope he knew what he was doing, and I trust that he probably did, but for insurance purposes on your end, man, that's on you. And I know what a lawsuit is these days. If he would have been hurt while doing so, who was covering that? Whose insurance was covering him? His or yours? I don't know. I really truly don't know whose insurance was covering this village property. I'm also aware of all the stuff going on with the cemetery board. I'm going to be honest when I say I think you guys are being extremely unfair to my parents and my husband, for one. For two, to Chris. I think, and Chris, I'm sorry, I think you guys are putting him in the worst position ever. You want to remove everything and take it away from Guy and Janet, and you want to take this cemetery position and put it all on Chris. Who's going to teach Chris? Chris is going to teach you. Do you know? Do you think if you just shove the current people out who've been doing it for 30 years, if you just force them to leave, you have board and find a grave accurately and know which side of the headstone you're supposed to dig on?
Know how to look at it and read it, but
Could you go to the cemetery and find a grave?
where to locate it.
I've been doing it for 3 years and I struggle. We have to think clearly here to prepare not only Chris himself, you're setting him up for failure. We finally found somebody who wants to take over the village, who wants to run the city office. Do you think it's right that you're setting him up for failure? It's not. It's really not. Set it up in a way that if you want to convert and change things, that you include the people who are currently running the cemetery.
I think a lot of us, that's what it is, to get it to where we can also make money to fix the cemetery.
Which I don't disagree with.
Yeah.
And there's so many
I mean,
options
something
from,
definitely has to go, and I don't think we're just looking at action.
right. Which is, like I said, beneficial for you, because if you just axe it, you're in trouble, because that cemetery is a jumbled mess from 50 years ago. So you're in big trouble if you just axe it and push people out. Engage in conversation, come up with ideas. Current grave, let's say, is $600-ish, roughly, and I could be lying too. Let's say it's $600. You up the grave burial, you let the current people stay, or you change it, whatever you do. You up the burial to $800, so the village makes $200 off of that burial, but it still stays in these hands. Ask the towns around you how much they're getting to dig a grave. You know, you have to remember that $800 when you're upping it, that's being pushed off on the people of the community. That's being pushed off on you if you want to be buried here. So it is smart to look into it, to do something. You're right. The roads they need help, so I don't disagree with what you're doing. I just want to see positive solutions to some of the problems at hand. I really do. I just want to see good things happen. I don't want to see Chris set up for failure, and I'm sorry, that's kind of what happened. I watched somebody work here for 30 years. I watched her come back to help you guys out, and she was forced out with no option. She wasn't given a choice. It was discussed in a meeting. It was never discussed in an open meeting after the fact, you know, which would be for your attorney to look into, but she was just pushed out. Again, putting Chris in a really bad situation. Now, when he needs help, he still has to call her. Thankfully, because she doesn't know how to tell the town no because she loves everybody here in this entire village itself, she still comes down and helps Chris. I don't know if I would have been so nice just being pushed out without an option, without being talked to, because that's the problem, and that's what I'm seeing. You guys are all really good people, and really good people, some of you are doing really bad things. If all of you came together for a common good, a common goal, you guys would be one incredible board who seriously I think would be able to do incredible things for the town and for the town's future. I have kids that are going to be raised here. I think a lot of us have kids or grandkids that are going to be raised here, correct? I mean, you're not moving. Julie, you're not, I mean, Lloyd, you got a grandbaby here too. Like, figure out what's good. Figure out what's going to benefit the town. And we go from there. But there has to be some positivity brought into all of this. From the election to the board, I think everyone's going to have to figure out how we make things better instead of seeking out people's positions and seeking out people individually. Because what's happening, everybody's aware. It's everywhere. It's in everyone's Facebook posts. It's the community. It's people don't want to go to the library because they think library board members are out to get other people. They think, you know, that really good board members are doing really bad things, and I'm one of them that I feel like a board member has sought me out, and I don't like it because I know that board member is a really good person. You guys have to figure out the positivity in this and how we change it to go forward. That's all I'm asking you from my standpoint. That's it. I mean, we can keep diving into the past. You know, we're worried about where the cemetery money is, who's making money on the cemetery, because that's, you know, property here. Who's running the ball diamond? Where's the money going for the ball diamond? You're making money at the concession stands, you're making money, you know, with the kids who sign up. It goes into the AYGCA, correct? And then you're able to buy stuff for the children. Okay, which is great. But again, before we are going to, like, target everybody, we're paying umpires cash, so they're not getting 1099s or W-2. I'm not saying I'm against it. It's a small diamond, and I want it to go. I want my kids to play here. So we have to figure out, in the future, 15 years from now, what's going to benefit your kids or your grandkids, right? Like, what's the positive things that we can start doing now to change things, to move forward, to be positive people? I don't want to feel targeted. I don't want to feel like my community doesn't support my position, which is happening a little bit. Like, we're all in this together, right? So let's do it together and change it and make things positive. Because you're a really good board, but right now you're a divided board. I don't want to see a divided board. I want to see a really good, really strong board that works together for the betterment of the community, period. I don't want new people. I don't want Chris set up for failure in his new job already. He's basically the board to say, yes, okay, you want me to do that? Okay, yes. But by pushing people out, it's not the answer. Work together, train new people correctly so that people aren't hurting them.
Well, I met with Janet and Guy last Friday, and I think you covered everything that they covered as far as the cemetery.
I watch it from,
But,
I watch it from afar, to be honest. I've watched them do it for 30 years. I myself have been involved for 3 years, and I'm going to tell you, I feel bad for my mom because when she's in Arizona, when she's in Hawaii, she still, and I feel like I'm a rather intelligent person, she still has to walk me through that cemetery. It is a nightmare. I mean, some people are buried at the headstone, some people are buried as the footstone, some people are buried multiple people to one site because that's how it was allowed 40 years ago. You know, I mean, the cemetery is all I've ever known too. She's done it since I was a child, no different than the village. It's just the lack of communication is going to do nothing for you guys, but again, divide people and end up in lawsuits. That's all it's going to do. You can't just push people out without talking to them. Engage, have a conversation, because I promise you a conversation will get very far. They only want what's best.
The only thing I have to say about that is we did not push your mom out. She told us the date that she was gonna be done, and then she extended it, and then she extended it again, and we all thought she was done, and then she stayed longer than she said she would. And so, we all thought December 1st was her last day, am I correct?
But did anyone ask her? Did you come
That
into
I
a
don't
meeting?
know.
Okay, did anyone come into a meeting and ask her?
Well, like I said, that I don't know, because Brian and Ed were the ones that were supposed to talk to her.
That's the communication that's key, because if anyone would have engaged in the conversation, it would have been like, Chris is doing really good, but he's not quite ready. And that's, the proof is in it, because he still has to call her for help, as he should. He doesn't know how to do tax. You hired him after tax season. How is it fair that that's pushed on Chris just to figure it all out? If not, he needed the extra help and the guidance. So as far as I'm concerned, Janet and Chris should have been brought into a meeting together. A discussion should have been had. If Chris would have said, you know what, I'm 100% ready, Janet, do you agree? And Janet would have said, yes, I do, and it would have happened that way, okay. But the communication in a board full of people, I mean, a conversation should happen between two people. If somebody's going to take over somebody's job, they need to be confident and comfortable.
Well, Chris told us he was.
But day-to-day, I was good.
So,
Day to day, he was good, but he still was unaware of how to do taxes or the things that only happen once a year.
well, and that's gonna happen for a long time, but he's gonna have to learn to call locusts and learn to call people that he needs.
And again, the bottom line is, so she came back out of retirement
Yes, that's fine.
to help you. And I wish she wouldn't have, but she did. And again, it's a dedication to the community.
we're gonna have to move on.
Okay.
Appreciate the positivity in front of us.
I do too, thank you.
Leo, since you had the fire department, do you want to join?
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo on what you said about, kudos to the police department and the public works department. Most of the time in this day and age, it's all negative towards law enforcement especially, along with public works. They get no praise, no, good job, everything is, you know, it's always their fault or whatever. In this case with public works, like Rick said, there wasn't a day this winter that we didn't have access to get our apparatus out of the station, because it just doesn't protect the village. But what those guys do protect roughly about another 2,000 people that reside within our fire district. Or, if we go to Cordova to help, or Fulton, or wherever we go, what those guys do in moving snow, and maintaining things here in town, affects not just the village of Albany, but not just the fire district, but our neighboring towns and communities. So, hats off to those guys it's a thankless job. I mean, you guys should go maybe after I was when I saw the snow, when it's 40 below zero and one's going 60 miles an hour. Just see what they put up with and what they have to do. Or sit out there all night at a power outage with those guys and see what they do. You know, you have no idea. The police department, I mean, enough can be said. We just recently worked with them on a major gas leak here in town, and we had to shut the high station to give us training on what to look for domestic abuse, what to look for drug paraphernalia in a home, what to look for if you see something suspicious, how to maintain a scene without destroying evidence so that if it does go to court, the person can, be tried and convicted. I mean, we never had that before. We never had that luxury before. So, it's just a great working relationship, and I don't think you guys pay enough compliments to these guys for what they do. Every day they make a difference. They make a difference every day they go to work. You may not see a whole bunch of it, but every day, those are the type of jobs that have an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. Not just the people in the village, but anybody traveling through this village. I think it's well due that these guys get some compliments and some kudos and some praise, and it's time to put it on the record from another emergency response agency. Our hats go off to them, and we truly appreciate the efforts that those guys put forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry?
All right, I'll say thank you to those who've both been very good to me anytime I've ever needed something. I've always found you to be very good, friendly, thank you.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to ask, how do I ask for a closed session meeting? Do I have to give you guys like today for next month, or do I?
Only a council member can make a motion for closed session meeting. You have to contact one of the aldermen or board
If I
members.
get a hold of Brian and say,
Yeah, either a mayor or an alder or a board member has to ask for a closed session.
but how, do I have to do it in advance, like certain time?
I think you should.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're aware of what's going on. And it has to be
Like
with
a couple
specific
weeks.
reason. You just can't have a closed session.
Right, that's
for
what I'm
very
asking.
specific reasons. So you'll have to convince one of them that there's a specific reason for
Okay.
it. For this meeting.
Okay.
Gordon?
Thank you. Brooke, well said. I appreciate a lot of what you said. I don't understand a lot of what you said, and I disagree specifically with the library. I'd like to get my feelings out on it.
Sure.
There was a meeting. It wasn't secret. It was citizens meeting in a public library to discuss politics. A little bit different than working on a campaign in a village building. Entirely different. Okay, I'd like to get that, so we're all on the same page here. And I also appreciate, Brooke, you showing me you can ask questions of each board member, because that's what I intend on doing now. Have any of you been told that I've filed FOIAs seeking information from this village? Have any of you been told that it's costing the village money in attorney fees?
I'm sure everybody knows that. Common sense will tell you.
I've been told that. My question to you, Brian, is why is it going to the attorney?
Certain things need to be, so we know what can be released.
Are you aware that the Public Access Council has a hotline that's free? Free to you, not to me, free to you.
Yeah.
Why aren't we using that? Why are we spending taxpayer money for a lawyer when these people do it for a living?
It's also costing money for every single employee to be getting involved in it.
You didn't answer my question. Why are we spending money on an attorney when they give us the advice for free?
Because the people in charge of FOIA will have to talk to the attorney.
The people in charge of FOIA, which would be Chris and Suzanne, the FOIA officers, why are they FOIA officers if they're not?
Yes, it's them. They're in charge of FOIA.
It seems beyond reason to me that you can get an opinion from this body that issues opinions on what my FOIA is. All you gotta do is email it to them and say, what should we do? And they'll give you an answer rather than, Bill, I don't need to cost you money. Oh no, God, I don't. But I'm saying, I don't see how that's even remotely safe to do that, to spend money on something that's probably not as good as you're gonna get in Springfield. Again, no offense, Bill, you don't see 3,800 of them a year, they do.
I personally think our attorney needs to know everything that's going on with our city instead of calling someone else for an opinion.
Well, that's your opinion as a trustee. Does the village feel that way? That we need to spend that money? In other words, if I'm told I'm wrong on something, tell me I'm wrong.
Did you ask the village if they thought we should spend the employees' money filling out these So I'm asking you, is it the village's opinion that you should be wasting employees'
You think
time?
that trying to have a transparent government is wasting time? If any of you, all of you took an oath, did you not? You all took an oath. And we all know that our democracy is not near as strong as we thought it was just a few months ago. Oversight is required in a democracy, otherwise you have a monarchy. You all know that. I don't need to give you a history lesson. You know what I'm saying. If any of you here don't think that you deserve to be oversighted or deserve to answer to anyone, you're not only in the wrong building, you're in the wrong damn country.
I think what we did was got oversight, right?
Pardon me?
We got oversight from the attorney, right?
I'm sorry, we got what?
Oversight from the attorney, we asked the attorney to oversee it.
From the citizens. You're not serving bills.
You didn't ask the citizens, you asked some of the committee members.
No.
I'm saying, you're a little beyond reason for me, I'm new to this role, but Kieran, you're a headache, buddy.
I'm a what?
A headache.
A headache?
Headache, yeah. You can write that down, I'll spell it for you. Someone.
There's no reason to be that way. You don't need to spell headache. Does that make you feel good doing that in public?
Yeah. What have you
I'm
done?
asking a question and saying, do you think you don't need oversight? We don't need to know where our money is going. Yes or no?
So we have a board meeting for it. I mean, it's all right here on the table, there's a.
So when this is sent to the attorney, does it go through all you folks first, or does it just go right to the attorney?
And what is?
The FOIAs.
They have the right to get a hold of the attorney, they don't need the board's permission.
Okay.
I guess that's what I'm saying, what information are you looking for that you're not getting?
Yeah.
This is what I'm asking.
Well, I was asking for data for a phone.
Okay, for who's
Yeah, and for a phone, a bill to pay phone.
Okay.
For data. They won't let me have it. And I'll get it, trust me, I'll get it.
Well, that's what
I'll play the game.
You're,
And I'm asking for communications between all of you that are taking place, maybe behind the scenes. You know, the law is, if you're getting communication with Bill's business on your personal device, that's a public record.
well, so.
You can't get information on personal.
Off of a personal phone.
You can.
You can't, if you go take it to court.
No, 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 no.
He can read, that's what I told you, if your own personal devices, you're doing public business, then that email is.
A public record.
Public record.
Now, I didn't get all
Sending
of
an email to a place here, and it's already, gonna be on the FOIA.
Well, it could be, that's full, full in.
I mean, you guys have an ordinance telling you what to do with your text.
The same thing with phones and that, you know, this is my personal phone, I don't do any business with the village or anything on there for that reason.
But
This
Mark,
is my.
somebody might text you something, and you don't even want it to come in.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, yeah, because that's my personal phone. So if that's gonna be the case, and they have to do that, then the village needs to supply it, not only with laptops, and email, they need to supply the phone.
I think the best bet is you get a text from me or somebody like me, fire an email to your account, to your village account, and you've got a copy. Is that right, Bill?
Right, correct.
All right,
And
that's all I'm getting at.
The bigger cities do provide,
Right.
as a laptop to provide everybody, and bigger communities provide them a phone, but.
It just-
And you provide them a phone, of course, but that becomes expensive for smaller communities.
Well, I just like this, I'm not trying to, I'm not Bernstein here, I'm not looking for that.
No, like I said, the transparency, I'm all with that, trust, I have no problem against that. Like I said, my own personal phone, that's, you know, I don't use that for village business, so.
Good.
I mean, that's just, you know, other than what you sent out for meetings and that, which is already public record to begin with.
So just so on the record, the board believes that any FOIA that comes in here needs to go straight to the attorney? Or is it just if Chris or Suzanne decide that, just so I can have an answer?
If they decide it.
If they decide it, they can decide if it goes to Bill.
If they have a question about it, then they will take it to the attorney.
But would you guys direct them to do that before contacting the Attorney General's office for free? That's the answer I'd like.
They're the ones trained in it, not us.
Question stands. Would you prefer that them go straight to the attorney
We haven't had the training,
and cost money, or
It's up
go
to
to the
them.
Attorney General's office?
we have not had the
Just what do
training.
you feel comfortable, do you feel comfortable
It's up
calling
to
that
them.
800 number?
When we did the training, It don't say to contact us.
Says contact
It
us,
ain't in there to contact us.
So it says contact our tax.
It don't say who to contact.
Doesn't say
You
it.
have a set of rules to go by. I have a playbook in there that I've got. It don't have that number, it's just say contact us if you have any questions.
Be happy to provide it to you,
So,
happy to. I found it, you can.
Bill, you aware of this 1-800 number?
Oh, I'm sure there probably is.
There is, there's a hotline that gets
The hotline for,
average 20 calls a day, Mark, and it's all from public bodies. I can't use it, you guys can, I can't, none of us can, you guys can, it's free to use. And these are the ones that are gonna decide, if it's bought, they're gonna decide how that goes, so they're not gonna give you bad information. Not the Bill would, again, Bill, I know I'm not getting the Christmas card from you, but
right, well, no, I'm sure.
see what I'm getting at, every little bit of money, it's like a business, it's no different than being a plant manager. How long would you be a plant manager if you did business this way? You paid an extreme amount, I don't know if it's an extreme amount, a lot of money for something you could get equal or better for free.
At the end of the day, there's nothing free. Your tax money's still paying for that 1-800 number.
Look, you're splitting hairs, you know what I'm saying. You want me to spell that for you?
Sure.
All right, I'm done. I appreciate you listening. Brooke, we can talk another time if you'd like to get into the whole library.
Bill? I got a couple things. Again, I wanted to get talking with Ed, since the elections are coming up. And I know he's gonna be either in charge or wherever, a status on our speaker systems and microphones. If there's a paper trail that if whoever comes in and takes his position, if there's gonna be a paperwork there showing whoever, where the phone called or who he had contacted or anything like that, that the next person might have some idea of what's going or what's not going.
I've not heard back from them.
You haven't heard back from them yet? Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a microphone system.
Pardon?
It doesn't have to be a microphone system, there's a lot of options out there.
I know, but I'm saying, is there gonna be a paper trail that whoever gets in any one of these positions, will they be able to pick up and go from there, whether we put in speakers off the system that we have here, or whatever, and be able to continue with it and see what's happening?
Yes, we will continue.
Yes? Is there paperwork?
Well, just the emails I've had with the last person we talked to from Tri-City
Like I
Electric.
said, yeah, but I mean, is that the only?
Well, there'd be emails in the record back and forth, yes.
We're still waiting for short on paperwork.
He's still working on a quote. The problem we got is how these hard walls, hard ceiling, it creates an echo. And when Wyatt brought his little kids' karaoke thing in, and I brought a PA system I used to use for training, and we experimented with it, but all Marlene got to record everything when we experimented with it, it echoed too much in the room and she couldn't understand when we were playing around with it to see if it would work, what it was saying. And that's the trouble that the person we've been talking to at Tri-City Electric is trying to figure out.
Have they even been up yet?
Yeah, he's been up, he surveyed the room, he took measurements, he even looked at where we can run the wires, because it'd be cheaper to run a hardwire system versus a wireless one, and easier to maintain. But then they either gotta cut a hole down in the police station and the ceiling and through the drywall there, or go up in the attic and go down that wall and bring it in. Right now, with our table spread out, it's not gonna be easy without having a whole bunch of wires around. And Chris and I, and actually Janet, when she was still in the office, we looked, Teresa and I was looking one time to see, like you see the other city councils have a big art table that all the board members sit at, and it's kind of semi-permanent.
I say there's a lot of wireless.
Yes, but they're, the wireless,
microphones, all that stuff that can be.
right, the wireless ones are about 3 times the price of a wired one. And then you gotta have extra batteries, because batteries only last so long in the system. Then you gotta have a bank of chargers for how many extra batteries you wanna have. So that compounds the price of doing wireless. So that's why he was talking us out of that. But, like I say, we've been looking into it. I
contact the ADA, wanted to see if there was any kind of grant money, and they give it out to private organizations. But the fact that we're a municipality, that's where your tax dollars gotta pay for it. So, and they again told me that there's other alternatives. If somebody's totally hearing impaired and can read sign language, we could provide an interpreter. We could go back to Zoom meetings and the person could sit and watch it on Zoom and have their own earphones and listen that way. So they said there are some alternatives that they had given me, but again, they just didn't seem practical. So, but till they can maybe come up with something, they able to get, that's how I first found out, was from Brian, that Tri-City Electric, their audiovisual division, they put a system in for Byron's, meeting room, but they spent like $30,000 for theirs when they got done with it. They had a grant from an energy organization here in the United States, and the grant was paid for some of that because they went solar on their sewer treatment plant, their new one. And part of that grant money paid for that sound, that PA system. Because that grant had what they call the educational element. It was for them to be able to let people come in, like schools and the general public, and come into their meeting room, and they can sit there and watch a video on going net zero and using solar power.
We're not getting that far into
Well, no,
videos
no.
and stuff like that, we're just.
Right, but like I say, they got,
in here.
their grant came from other sources, and that's why I say, I've been trying to
We
see.
can always go to extremes, but that's not what we're asking.
Well, no,
That's what not I'm asking.
but I've been trying to see if there is any money, and like I say, I contacted the ADA, and if we were anything other than municipality, there's money out there
Yeah.
for different things and stuff, but, you know, just not having much luck,
Yeah.
and then looking at even a $10,000
It's
system.
been over 14 months, I thought maybe we might have a little more headway
Well,
than what we have had, especially in 14 months or whatever.
I know, I agree, it's taken a long time, but COVID's factored into that a little bit, and then.
But it was even before COVID, before last March and.
Right, but Chris and I have been looking since he's come on board, and I found some canned systems, but again, they don't suit what we need, and the acoustics in the room, that makes a big difference too, because like I say, even now talking, it creates an echo. So, it's not gonna be easy, and it's not gonna be quick, and then once we do get a price, do we have money in our budget to pay for it? So we might have to.
We've been talking for over a year.
I know.
So somewhere, something should have been brought up or maybe even thought about, a budget or something.
True, I've been looking, and I've been.
They're working on it still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that for 14 months, Brian. Okay, second thing I have. I hear everybody talking about our police department and how they've aided and stuff like that. But you flip the coin, there's two sides. The question I have is, why Terry in our squad car was at Dollar General last Saturday buying groceries or whatever he was buying? Okay?
What's that? I'd be happy to speak.
Well, I was on a squad car.
I'd be happy to speak after the meeting. That's not something you bring up at a board meeting.
It is here.
No, it isn't.
It's for everybody to find out why
That's
our
the
squad cars
that's the problem
are
with this
everywhere, but sometimes besides, why are they not in the
What are you
city?
talking about everywhere but here? I don't leave here. I'm on call 24/7.
Yeah, I know.
And if I leave
for
here,
that, too.
I have to have Terry cover me.
Okay, last Saturday during your Ed's question and answer session, he was up there at Dollar General in Fulton. I'll give a simple explanation. Why?
I'll ask him, and we'll let you know.
Okay,
Not a problem.
thank you,
I
what?
mean, he might have been buying some batteries. I don't know.
Well, you know, it's been here, when you're looking for somebody, sometimes you guys are not always around. And there's lots of stories on where you're at.
They always seem to find you.
One
So-
time you said you saw him in
Well, you know,
Fulton.
Pam, I've heard that from you also.
You said
About
in
why.
Fulton, and he wasn't in Fulton, it was
Yeah.
a Fulton squad car.
Morrison has the
Yeah,
same
where's the
squad,
guy?
Holt has the same squad.
Come on,
All right.
face up to it, every once in a while you get caught.
You're a conspiracy theorist.
You too, Wyatt, same to you, Wyatt, you know.
Moving on. couple out here.
I gotta go, you should be so
I'm
fun.
sorry if you don't like it, you have your say, and you, and you're supposed to.
Yeah.
This should be a shame if, trustees directed.
Hey,
Okay.
I agree.
hey Terry, hang on, since it's a murder case, what were you doing in Fulton, Terry?
Getting batteries for PFAS.
Holy cow, now we got it out there, thanks Bill.
And you
It's just ridiculous,
don't
the
have to, you're
disrespect,
saying you
the
get batteries.
disrespect you've had for me since I've gotten here
Okay.
is
All right.
it's ridiculous.
I got you.
It is.
I got you. Ron, one more thing. This is pathetic.
It is.
This is the reason this town is going down. It's 1,000 people. You people cannot get along. He didn't do anything wrong, sir. He's doing his damn job.
to me direct? What do you mean you talk to me?
Don't talk to me. You people are, this
All right,
is
see ya.
pathetic.
All right. People are just unbelievable.
Steve, can you not call it Steve?
Next. Okay, thank you. I handed out, prior to the meeting to the board members, the Brian, our project update. I just wanna go through that. There's quite a bit, tonight that we need to cover. And Chris Cooper, from our office is with me tonight as well, if there's any questions, and I know he's been working real hard, for you folks and on pushing to, get this project completed. So I was just asking Chris, about any recent payments from SRF on your, last loan disbursement request, and he has not seen anything to date. We'll follow up on that. We do have, and there will be other final closeout and payouts coming yet, and we'll process those and get those to Brian, and you folks for signature, and then get them off to Springfield for processing, as quickly as we can. Just to recap, Logan, we asked to get some water samples taken and then sent to the lab. Logan helped with that. On Friday, we have not heard back yet from the lab, so we're still working under a temporary operating permit with IEPA. I think that according to Logan, the samples and what he did here in locally, it looked good. So if it comes back good with the lab, we'll submit the report to IEPA, and that temporary operating permit will roll into a permanent full operating permit. So we should be hearing something.
I would think.
The next week.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. So, thank you. Okay. Contract D. With Williams Brothers and their work on the well house and then recently on the water treatment plant. We've got two issues, on our punch list here that hopefully we can get through, here rather quickly, so we can get this project completed. One is with the recent thaw, we're seeing some seepage into the water treatment plant. Chris Cooper has been up and took a look at it. We think that we can have Williams Brothers come back and bury the drainage tube that's running from a downspout, bury that, and then do some additional landscaping, some grading, and then seeding, and I think that will work. What has happened is with all the snow and the hard freeze, that there was moisture and that tube was actually full of ice. And then the thaw, and the water didn't have any place to go, other than where it went. So, Williams Brothers, and we've reached out to them, and they're willing to work with us, work with you, on getting that taken care of.
Keith?
Yes.
Can I interrupt you real
meeting, but
Yeah.
about some of the hours
Yeah, there is a
that,
charge.
instead of doing a change order or an SCR, they just got done without any prior proof. So that's what we were wanting to discuss, to see if they could offset maybe some of their hours. Yeah, that was what we were, and you were gonna discuss that with them, get back to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So the other thing is this little map. We've got a water main or an old water main, water line up by the water treatment plant. We need to abandon that. In the original contracts and specs was, a plan to do a, tap and
Thrust locker restraint.
yeah, thank you. And the former DPW when the full start of this was okay with that. That would entail depressurizing the system for about 4 hours so they can get in and do that task. It also then, once they repressurize, would, we need to do a boil order. Yeah, and the boil order would be roughly 18 to 24 hours.
And this is not in the original scope, or this?
It is.
It is.
It is, to do that, how do you call it?
Catamaran.
Yeah. Thank you. I wouldn't remember that. The alternative to that is to do a line stop under pressure. Okay? Yeah. But with that, because of the line stop, the actual stop mechanism is about 3-4 feet, and it will leave 3 or 4 feet of stagnant water that has access to your system.
Yeah.
That cost is about $9,000.
So,
But Williams Brothers is willing to split that cost with you if that's the route you want to go.
Well, my thinking was, we go with the original, that's already paid for, and we do it on a Monday, and then we give enough notice so that the only 2 restaurants that would be open would be Shell and Sub to Go, so that they can have enough water on hand for the boil order and for the.
and we need to make sure too, Brian, at this time, that we're trying to do this, whatever close as we can, the electric bill coming out, so we can give the folks in the village a heads up.
Right.
Right.
So they can prepare for this as well.
Yeah, given the
Yeah, I wasn't completely against it, I just, trying to not lose water for the town.
right, I get it, I get it.
They're trying to do a hot
If
tap.
it's okay with the board.
Because it's gonna increase the cost, and also, like you said, it's gonna have standards, it's gonna have to test in the boil, so we just want this as a original, my opinion.
Right.
Let the board make sure.
If we could do it as early as we could on, like you said, a Monday,
Yeah,
7 o'clock, 7 o'clock Tuesday, we'll be back ready to go.
okay. Given the weather and the frost and everything that's going on, it's probably not gonna happen in the next week or 2. It's probably like more of a month out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get a schedule together when we can
Right.
do that, so that we
Right.
get that out to our,
Yeah, absolutely, because we want all of these folks here and elsewhere in the community to know that, hey, the water pressure's gonna be down for 3-4 hours, whatever, and then you're gonna have a boil order. It's an inconvenience, but, when you look at the grander scheme, the big picture, long term, it's to everybody's benefit. You okay with that? Thank you. The aerolator tank, we talked about that last month a little bit, and Logan, you mentioned you were reaching out to a vendor or two and
Yeah.
getting some.
I have not gotten an email back,
Okay.
so I guess I'll call them this week.
Okay.
I don't know if they forgot or what's going on, but.
Okay, but our assumption is that the village will handle that as a separate item Chris had sent a memo. This is where you are with your, fees and so forth, so far. 277 and 700 is design engineering fees, our construction fees. Then contract A, Ahoy, well and pump. Contract B is Williams Brothers. And then contract C is the work that civil engineering, civil construction has done. Contract A and C are complete. So those numbers are solid. Williams Brothers, and we just discussed, has got a little bit of work to do. So your total loan to date is at $3,051,997.13. Okay, the last page I've included is your actual loan agreement. Your loan agreement with IEPA was for $3,169,833.60, of which they are forgiving $1.5 million of that amount. Okay? And your interest rate initially was 1.84%, and it was reduced to 1.38. It was 1.84 and reduced to 1.38. So, however, the bottom line